Well, it's the Father's Day gift guide from Getzone.com, and we're checking out some pretty cool items, starting out with the Holosun Raid. It's their new weapons light, 1,000 lumens. It is scalp mount compatible. There's some pretty cool options with this light. We also have a number of options from 1791 gun leather. Also, metal Glock mags from Mec-Gar. Mec-Gar makes OEM mags for a number of different gun companies, and they've been in business since 1965. This gives you a lot of options with your Glock handgun. Also included is a lot more items. And guys, this is toward Father's Day, but it also gives you some ideas when you want to buy a gift for yourself. And we want to give a big thank you to Getzone for putting all this together. Guys, Getzone.com is one of the best Second Amendment friendly video platforms out there. Well, guys, we have the Holosun Raid, and RAID stands for Rifle Area Illumination Device. It's a 1,000 lumen light. It has 80,000 candela. This is a real thrower, and that's what you want on your rifle. You want to be able to get that distance. In fact, I've seen this demonstrated out to 500 yards picking up steel targets. It really puts out an intense beam. It has a TLR lens, and that is really excellent for efficient light transmission. And you can see how it focuses in, and then it just sends the light out. It's smooth reflector, a really high quality LED, and it's deep. And so that's going to give you that distance. It has a 7075 T6 aluminum body, and it does have a hard anodized finish on it. Now here on the back, we have our pressure pad, but we also have a remote switch port. And so we can attach a remote switch. And here's the thing, guys. This light's coming in at like $199 retail. And included with the lights are mounts. Now this is the Surefire Scout compatible setup. So there is a blue bazillion options out there, but you don't have to order them separately. They have the Picatinny mount, and so that'll go right onto your Picatinny rail, or they have the M-LOK mount, and this really fits close to the handguard. And as you can see, it just fits in very closely, and then you have the screws to be able to tighten that down. And that puts it really close to the M-LOK rail. And then you get a pressure pad. Now this is a very compact pressure pad, and we have the crane port docking. So the male is the little springs here, and this just locks into this back port, which has a rubber boot. We lock it in, and man, it snaps in. So it's not just going to come out. It actually has a little bit of pressure required to pull that out. And that's going to be important, especially if you're in the field and you want this to be secure. And then we have a very compact pad. Now, this pad is very responsive. And again, it's 1,000 lumens. I mean, it is really incredibly bright. But if you double click, you go down to a lower setting. Now, the lower setting is not mentioned as far as the lumens, but I would say this is probably about 500 lumens. This would be better for indoors. And then double click and you go right back to that 1,000 lumen setting, which is blindingly bright. And we're getting distances out to about 500 yards with good light. You can identify. Now, again, you don't want to use your pressure pad. It does have the pad on the back for your switch. And so you just press it and hold, and it's momentary. And you release. But if you just press it, it's on constant on. Now, one thing you will notice is there are some concentric rings right around the outside in the flood zone. But you can see how intense this light is. And we're going to demonstrate this here in a second. It does have the 18650 battery. And so when we open it up, it is rechargeable. And it does have a sleeve to hold this into place and to give it more stability. You don't want the battery bouncing around. And so here we can take our USB and just plug it directly into the battery, and it's USB-C, and then you just plug this into your USB port. You can use two CR123s, and with this sleeve it's going to help, and that makes it really easy to have those handy, but you can have extra 18650 batteries. Very nice electronics, very well done. You can see with the head. And again, Holosun knows a thing or two about electronics, and with their weapons sights, they are really exceptional. This is IP68, which means that it's waterproof, it's dustproof, and it will take up to 1,000 grams of shock. And typically that's 1.5 meters. You also get a torch wrench that'll fit your screws. Well, guys, I have video lighting that's shining, but as you can see, there's nothing to see in front of us. We turn this light on, and there's our target. So the target is definitely, invisible without light. So really, light is great for identifying. You need to be able to see. But definitely that higher lumens is going to reach out, and we'll look at that in a minute. But again, I can double click and I go down to the lower setting. And so this is still plenty of light to be able to see. But one of the things about having that bright light is that you can blind someone that may have a weaker light in front of you. Now we have the pressure pad on top, and that way I can just reach my thumb up. I know exactly where it is. And of course, this is a short little AR-15. It's actually a 22. But the light mounted very well with the M-LOK. And I really like M-LOK because it brings it close to the rail if you have an M-LOK rail. But then again, if you want to put on a Picatinny rail, it just gets it out there. This crane really holds in well. I mean, you have to really mean to pull that out to get it to come out. So overall, this is a pretty cool setup. And the light's definitely really intense, and it gets that hot spot. All right, we've got the light out here. That's about 10 yards. We get out to this tree, that's about 50 yards. And then along that tree line, that tree is at 100 yards. And it can really go the distance. I mean, it is amazing how this light just puts it out. All right, guys, this tree is about 75 yards out. And then when we get down to the range, that's about 150 yards down there. And you can see the different setup. I mean, it really gets the light out there. I wish I could get more distance, but that's all I have right now. So definitely a great light for your rifle. I mean, you're going to get that pinpoint beam, and it's going to go and give you a decent area down there. Now, the retail price is $199.99, but typically market price you can get it for less. That includes both the M-LOK and the Picatinny mount. It also includes the crane port pressure switch, and of course you get your screws and everything else you need. Any other premium rifle light is going to cost you, to get all the mounts, up to $500–600. You're talking about Streamlight, Surefire, Cloud Defense, a lot of those type lights. And honestly, the Holosun performs just as well. While the Holosun red dot sights have really been received extremely well, it's great to see them expand out. Of course, with their thermal, with their night vision, and now with their standard white lights. This is just great to see at an affordable price with your different mounts. And then, guys, if you want to set it up, you have a certain setup that you like better, you can also attach that because of the Scout system. So Surefire Scout mount is very solid, and this just gives you a lot of options. So Mec-Gar has just introduced their Glock compatible magazines. This goes to the Glock 17 full-size mag, but it has 18 rounds. And then we have the Glock 19, and this is also 18 rounds. It just has an extended base plate. Now, one of the things about Mec-Gar is they've been in business since 1965, and they are an OEM manufacturer for a number of major gun companies. These are made in Italy. They've been making these again since 65. They know what they're doing. I mean, that's over 60 years. And a lot of times you can pick up a number of different really premium firearms that have Mec-Gar magazines. Now, the magazine is one of the most important parts of your firearm. Most of your malfunctions come from improperly made magazines. And again, Mec-Gar has been doing this since 1965, and these have an anti-friction coating on them, so they're very slick. That's going to make it really easy to slide in and out of your magazine well. Also, we have our witness holes, and of course, we have 18 rounds. The body is made from a carbon steel, and it's properly heat treated to the exact specs. It has a high-impact green high-vis follower, so when that thing locks open, you're going to know that it's empty. It has a high-impact polymer base pad, and it's very easy to disassemble for cleaning. You just press the button in the bottom, and then just drive your plate right out. And then we have our spring, which this is actually high tensile strength music wire. And so this is going to give you a lot of compression and expansion over and over, and it's just going to add to the life of your magazine. Glock base plates will not fit on the magazine, but I'm going to tell you guys, this makes this so much easier to remove your base plate than the standard Glock magazines where you have to press the body and you have to overcome those nubs. And with the Glock 19 mags, you just have this little bit of an extended base, and again, this gives you 18 rounds. Now here with your Glock 19, just hangs off just a touch, and yet you've got 18 plus 1, which is standard 15 plus 1. With the Glock 17, of course, you have 17 rounds. We're going to put this in. Now we have 18 plus 1. So this gives you just that extra round, and again, it gives you 3 extra rounds with that little bit of an extension. Now, one of the questions, honestly, that I even had was, how does metal mags work with a polymer mag release? If you'll notice, the mag release cuts. There's no open hole. There's no jagged lines. This has that anti-friction material on it, so it's going to make it really slick to be able to fit off and on. And Mec-Gar says that you don't need to change out your magazine release. That polymer mag release will work just perfectly with your magazine. And it gets very little tension coming off there. So you have the durability of this metal mag compared to the polymer mag, which you could have issues with. And guys, I'm not down on the Glock mags. They're great. They've worked. They function like crazy. I mean, these are great mags. But this gives you that metal capability, an extra round, and honestly, you can feel how slick that is compared to the polymer. Now, taking the magazines and testing them out at the range, we wanted to give them a good run through. We put a couple of hundred rounds through the 17 and the 19, just getting a feel for the reliability, which I had a lot of confidence in already with Mec-Gar. And just seeing how they function, taking the mags in and out, kind of checking to see if there's any kind of wear around the magazine release, and we didn't see anything. And again, it just gives you that additional round with a flush fit magazine for your 17. And then gives you additional rounds for that 19. And again, you have that heat-treated carbon steel body that's going to give you a lot of life, and the music wire in there that's going to give you a very consistent push, even with loading and unloading the magazines over and over. Now, the Glock 17 mags will not work with the G19X, so just take note of that. You'll have to use the standard mags. But for all of your other Glock 17 size grips, this should work very well. Again, Mec-Gar is an OEM manufacturer for a number of different major gun companies, and they service a lot of military contracts all around the world. The full retail price is $29 a piece. Typically, market price will be a little less. $17.91 gun leather. Guys, I've had quite a bit of experience with these guys, and they are making some really premium leather products. This is made from American steer hide, and the quality, honestly, is over the top. Now, a lot of people like the Kydex, but if you like leather, which I love a good solid leather holster, you can live with a soft leather holster. And a good solid gun belt and other items as well. They do a number of different things, but the one thing they really specialize in is their holsters, and they have multi-fit holsters. Now, if you're like me, I have a whole box of holsters, and it's nice to have one holster that I can put multiple guns in, especially something that is of high quality. And a lot of times with the universals, you get just a budget type holster. This is extremely well made. It fits my Glock Model 43 just right. But, of course, they have every kind of size you can imagine and a number of different colors. This is the Stealth Black, and it has that matte look to it. And even with the reinforced bonding, the stitching is extremely well done, and these have lifetime warranties on them. This is the BH 2.1. It is optics ready. It has a shirt guard. And of course, we have nice wide belt loops, and you have some forming. Now this, you want to break these in with leather. I mean, it takes a little bit of a process, but it doesn't take long to get that holster ready. Then we have the SCH, and this is for smooth concealment holster. Now, this does not have a lot of shape to it, but man, it is soft and very supple. They even make deer hide, which I really like their deer hide inside the waistband holsters. But you can put a number of different firearms in each one. This Glock 19 fits perfectly, and it is optics cut, so I can get that right in there. I've got my optics. They even make some of these style for weapons lights. We have a nice metal clip. Of course, you can see the stitching is very well done. They're really putting out some good quality holsters, and they do have Kydex as well. And they have really good solid gun belts. This is the Gun Belt 01. They do make a couple of different models. Very rigid. And this is from steer hide as well. It is a solid belt. Listen, this is your platform. This is where when you have your EDC, all the different items, you need to hold up your pants. But when you have a gun on your belt, you need something that's not going to flop. You need something that's going to hold that holster right to your side, and that's one of the things about these belts. They are rock solid, and yet they're very comfortable to wear. So we went ahead and tested the belt, and I've been wearing it for a couple of days, and then we went down to the range. We attached one of the BH 2.1 on the belt, and we were drawing. It's just a smooth draw. It has a solid feel to it. The belt held up extremely well. And then we switched to the SCH, and again, this is a very comfortable holster to wear. Now this one's outside the waistband, but if you want to go with inside the waistband, this is a great option. And it's really easy to be able to draw that firearm right out of this holster. One thing about it though, when you're putting it back in, you just need to make sure your trigger guard gets in, and then it'll slip right in. And so while this is kind of a soft holster and it doesn't really have a lot of shape, that makes it extremely easy to carry on an everyday basis. And if you're like me, all my waking hours, I am wearing some sort of holster. And it has the rough suede leather on the inside, so it's going to protect your firearm. And then it has this supple leather on the outside. And this is just a beautiful holster. And again, they do make this in deerskin, which is extremely soft. But we got to test them out. But guys, I have been using the 1791 holsters for a number of different firearms. And it just makes it easier not to have to dig through my box looking for a holster for a specific type gun. So guys, when it comes to your EDC items, we have them in our pockets. This just really organizes things, and it gets it on your belt rather than just down in your pockets. Easier to find. So here we have the SOG, and this is the Power Assist multi-tool. And this pocket right here is made for a multi-tool, and this is a large multi-tool. But you can see we can fit that right down inside. And if you need to, you can push it up this way, or you can just pull it out. And one of the things about leather, it's very forgiving, and it just forms a memory to whatever you're putting in there. So over time, this is really just going to fit very well. And then we have our flashlight, and we have the Arc Feld by Olight. This is the Arc Feld Ultra. And with that clip, we just bring it down, and it retains it without coming out of the bottom. And yet it lifts it to where you can push it up through just like this and get to your light. And then I have the Microtech, and this is the out the front, and this is the Zero Play blade. And man, this thing is sweet. So I don't want to lose it. And so we can put it or other knives just right here. It clips, it's going to retain it. You have everything in a certain place, and so you know when you just reach down and grab it. Now right here is a split ring, and this is for whatever you want to put on it. Here we have just one of the Olights, and this is the iMini 2, and I'm going to show you why I really like this light and why I like it on this lanyard, or this little ring. So we can put it on here, and then it's here, and it hangs. But if I need to use the light, I can just pull it off and it automatically comes on. And then when you put it back, it cuts off. And this slips into a USB. So I really like this for charging. And then we could take some kind of ring, whatever you've got. And here we have a little sleeve to be able to slip that in there. And now I've got my keys. And guys, I have everything I need right here on my belt, ready to go. And I just love this. They do make smaller ones, and again, they make a number of different ones, and you'll want to check that out at 1791 Gun Leather. This is one of the largest that they make. They have a number of different options for those who carry a lot less. Well guys, new from CZ is their Shadow 2 Carry. This is a 9mm pistol. It's double single action, and this is taken from their CZ 75 line. The CZ Shadow has been a world champion handgun winner in a number of different disciplines, but it's a larger pistol. And so the Shadow 2 Carry comes in with a more concealable size and yet made for competition. And guys, that just gives you everything you need for self-defense. It's an all-steel pistol, and we have a 15-round magazine, chamber's empty, but one of the things about this slide is that the slide fits into the slide rails on the frame. And so it gives it a really low bore axis. You'll notice how low the slide comes down, and man, it shoots extremely well. Low bore axis really makes a difference with recoil management. Now this again is part of the CZ 75 family, but it has been massively refined. We have a nice beaver tail. We have aluminum grips that are checkered very well. We have checkering here on the back and front strap, and Picatinny rail. But one big plus is it is optics ready. Now this is a direct optic mount for your Shield RMSC or Holosun 401K. So it has that micro red dot. We have serrated lines all along the top, even including the adapter plate. And this just cuts down on glare. Front sight, back sight with a cocking shelf, and it's 3-dot luminescent. Now again, this is a double action, so that means that when you pull the trigger with the hammer down, it'll come back. And then subsequent shots will be in the rear position, and then you're ready for a smoother, quicker shot. But with this handgun, that double action is so smooth that there's not really a big transition. Now we have a decocker, and we can bring that down and it just comes to half cock. There is a firing pin block. This is drop safe. We have our slide release here, rear and front cocking serrations, and they have trimmed the slide down. It really comes down with a nice cut to make it just easier to slide into holsters, and it just makes it look really nice. We have a 3-slot Picatinny rail, and so the way this grip's cut, and CZ's always been known for this, it just rests in your hand to feel so natural. And that is a big plus for competitive shooters, because the more natural you get that aim, the faster you can get those shots. Nice, large trigger guard and ready for gloved hands. Very smooth trigger, even double action is just very smooth. And then those single action shots are quick and they're very nice. When you take it out to the range, because of the internal slide rails, it is a very smooth shooting handgun. All the controls are very intuitive. Of course, that grip makes it really nice to be able to just hold on to, and with the texturing, it gives you a lot. Also, that trigger pull is very soft, it's very smooth, and so you're able to get really good accuracy. Because it's optics ready and because it does have an accessory rail, you're able to outfit this to any modern standard for self-defense. This just makes an incredible carry gun, but it also makes a great gun for home defense, or if you just want to go to the range. I've always been a huge fan of the CZ75 line, but this really takes it up 3 or 4 notches. If you've never tried out the CZ Shadow pistols, but especially the CZ Shadow 2 carry, this is an excellent gun to have on your hip. Gives you a lot of confidence, and it has that CZ quality behind it. Well guys, this is one of the most exciting guns that I've reviewed so far in 2025, and it is the Springfield Armory Kuna. This is what I consider a PDW. It's a 9mm pistol with a brace, and this is something that makes it really super compact. It's easy to carry, make a great car gun, great for home defense. I mean, and it's a lot of fun to shoot at the range. So first thing let's do is go ahead and drop our magazine, and we're going to check the chamber, and the gun is empty. Now here you see your charging handle. It folds down, so it makes it really easy just to bring back, and you can switch that to the other side. We have a monolithic Picatinny rail that comes all the way down, and we have pop-up sights that are metal that are integrated into the rail. And then if you have the sights down, we have a sight picture even when it's down. So this gives you great backup sights, but this really kind of calls for an optic. Has a nice mag well. For the proprietary magazines, they are translucent, and it just does have a little bit of a flare here. We have texturing in front of the mag well. The pistol grip is AR-15 compatible, but this is a really excellent pistol grip. I mean, it just really forms well. It fits good. It has that smooth finish. A lot like the Echelon and the Hellcat from Springfield Armory. This is actually made in Croatia by SH Product. They produce the Hellcat and the Echelon series, so no wonder that they're going with this kind of texturing. Here we have our safety, and we can go to fire, and it is colored and it is ambidextrous. We have our bolt release here and on this side as well. And we have our mag release, which is just a paddle right here, but we also have the mag release here on the other side, which is very easy to use with your shooting finger. Now the bolt is one of the heavy mass bolts, and this really comes back. But the great thing is about the Kuna is it has a roller delay blowback action. And that just delays the gases after firing, and then when it comes back, it softens the recoil. And then we have M-LOK compatible rails all the way around, the fore end. And then we have a really nice muzzle brake, 1/2 by 28 thread, so that you can attach a suppressor to this. But this is extremely effective, and then add the roller lock, and man, it makes it a joy to take to the range. We have a Strike Industries brace. This is metal. We have polymer here at the back. It has these little hooks where you can hook it on the bottom of your arm, and it gives it a really great area to rest it for shooting. And then just to press, and we can bring it around. And guys, this makes an incredibly small package. And that's what I love about these PDW style firearms. Really easy though to deploy, but it gives you enough lockup to where it just doesn't flop. I mean, it is locked down. It has a flat face trigger, which just really increases the geometry and the pull of the trigger pull. And guys, the roller delay blowback really makes this a lot softer to shoot than your standard blowback. Regular blowback has a little bit of a punch to it. And while it's very shootable with 9mm, it still has some recoil that you don't find even with a 5.56 and an AR-15. But with the roller delay, it makes this really soft shooting firearm. I mean, guys, honestly, you don't want to stop shooting it because it is just one of those guns that just feels right. The quality is there. And of course, with all the things that you can do with optics mounts, with M-LOK accessories. The barrel is 6 inches. It is cold hammer forged, which is going to gives you more life to your accuracy. And again, it just means more quality. The disassembly is easy to maintain, easy to clean. So the Springfield Armory Kuna. This is one of my favorite PDW style firearms. And again, that roller delay blowback just makes a world of difference. Jaguar Silencers, and this is the CAX 762, which is for 308 or 30 caliber. This is part of their X series, which means expansion chamber. And that's what this is at the bottom. And this just allows the gases to flow through, and it keeps this extremely quiet. It's definitely a very unorthodox looking suppressor. One of the big advantages of this style suppressor is the longer the suppressor is, the more noise reduction you're getting. But that means you have a longer suppressor on the end of your rifle, especially if you're hunting. You know, it's nice to have something a little shorter. I mean, it's already at the end of your barrel. What this does is, as the gases flow through the muzzle, they come back down through the suppressor and the gases are more dissipated. And so while it's a lot shorter, it's very effective, and this just allows the gases to an intermittent flow system. And as they come through, it gives it an extremely low blowback, and it makes it extremely quiet. It's 6.5 inches in length. It's 2.35 inches in height, and it's 1.8 inches in thickness. So, and it weighs 15.8 ounces, but this is made from Inconel 718, high stress resistant, corrosion resistant nickel chromium alloy. This is a 3D printed suppressor. It's actually the first one that I've had a lot of experience with. I've shot a number of them. But one of the things about 3D, first off, just on the exterior, is just the beautiful design that's on this suppressor. Now this is called the Jag Camo. They have the spot kind of looking design. I think it's beautiful. But they also have their just smooth finish. Then they have what they call their Freedom finish, which has a design that has the American flag motif. And then they have the Streamline, and it just gives it a really nice design. Now this is a black Cerakote finish. It's high temp, but they also have an FDE finish. They have an OD green, and they have an FDE distressed finish, which makes it look really battle-worn almost. I mean, it is actually a pretty cool finish. But this is a very unique flow-through design that, again, is going to be very effective. I have some suppressors that have spacers. You can take parts of it off. And if you want it shorter, it's just going to be louder. This is your more 30 caliber can. In fact, this is for 7.62. It's for 6.5, which is Grendel or Creedmoor, 308, 30-30, 30-06, 7mm, and 300 blackout, and anything smaller than that you can use in this suppressor. You know, you could shoot 22 rimfire in this. And it is full auto rated. And one thing they recommend is to clean this after every 2,000 rounds. Now this is a unibody design. It has an end cap and it has your mounting point. And we have one of the direct thread mounts. And you can get this with the hub mount, but really nice threads. You have an expansion chamber here, and then we have the inside of the suppressor. I'm going to shine a light so we can get a little better look, but here you can see as you go into the suppressor One thing you'll notice here at the bottom are these ports, and this is where the gases go through the expansion chamber and come back out. Now, because of the unique shape, and this only fits in one direction on your rifle. With the linear suppressors, you can just turn them and tighten them down. With this, you want that expansion chamber to be at the bottom. You don't want it to be on the side or canted. And so they have these Heresy design washers. And these are indexing washers, and it really helps to mount this into the right index. Here I have a light shining through it. You can see each of the baffles, and again, this just allows the gases to flow into the different chambers. Then when it gets up to the front, it goes down, and then it pours all the way across the bottom, and it just dissipates those gases. Guys, when it comes to suppressors, I mean, it just really quietens things down. And you know, it's been kind of touted as like, oh, a silencer. They're not really silencers. I mean, they just quieten down the report of the firearm. But it also helps mitigate the recoil. So it really helps to make it just more efficient. Now with the Jaguar, it's got a definitely unusual, unorthodox look to it. But man, it is extremely effective. And whether you're shooting the subsonic or even the hypersonic ammunition, with 300 blackout, you know, it's really optimized with a suppressor. Well guys, with your suppressor, you do get a set of the Heresy design indexing washers. And this is, to me, a really excellent system to be able to mount this. Also, you do get a MOLLE pouch to be able to protect your suppressor. It slides right in. And with mine, I got this brochure with a lot of the different information. And of course, you can get all that on the website as well. So overall, a very unique design, a lot of technology, state-of-the-art metals, and it's just a beautiful suppressor. And again, you get that short, compact size that makes this even easier to carry, especially out in the field. So guys, I hope we gave you some great ideas for Father's Day, but also just showing you some gear that you can purchase throughout the year. And again, a big thank you to Getzone for putting all this together, and check out Getzone.com. Again, one of the biggest Second Amendment friendly video platforms out there. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. And what I like to do is have my clip to come on the outside. And so this holds it into place. So it's, what the crap? With, look, Father's Day, but for your personal whatever. The lines in it, okay, I don't care about those lines. So guys, guys, I hope we brought some, and then you have 80,000. Guys, today we're going to take a look at the Father's Day gifts guide. You can attach a Picatinny rail, but you can also attach.